Super Dave here for another review. Super Dave here with another exciting review, and today we're coming to you with a Super 7 Masters of the Universe Classics Club Grayskull Filmation Teela. I came a little late in the game with this figure, but I was able to trade for her on Instagram with a friend that's also a collector. I had some G.I. Joes he wanted, and he had a Teela, brand new Teela. So tickled to be opening this character and add her to my collection. At first I was a little doubtful of wanting to get her because frankly I just really, was happy and satisfied with my Classics Teela. She's so beautiful and meets the need of most of my pictures. But as I begin to see, this Filmation Teela that we're about to open, partnered with, the Filmation Man-at-Arms and the Filmation Prince Adam and Orko, and even Katrina, watching the cartoon back to see how that all unfolded and played out. I said, I gotta get this character. So she comes in this traditional brown mailer box, and then of course the Club Grayskull slip cover that when you open it, there is the figure within. Wow, there she is. There is the Filmation Teela in that beautiful Club Grayskull box. And you have, of course, the windows on the sides and the eyes on the top that allows you to see down in there. And it's just a beautiful package. And then, of course, on the back, you have the Filmation accurate, amazing artwork with Teela there. And then there's the bio. If you would like to read that, check that out, you can certainly do so. So let's break her open and check out what accessories she has and see all of her amazingness here. All right, we'll be right back. And here she is out of the package, and I think she looks stellar. Doesn't she look like the Filmation Teela? Now, some have questioned her face, especially her lips and a little bit around the eyes, and there is someone that repaints that, repaints her head sculpt that makes her look just like the Filmation version. And I may send mine off and have that done, and if I do, I'll do an update, and I'll try to post a picture later on this video when we go over the articulation in the review booth of her with that treatment from some other sources like Grayskull Warrior. But right now, let's take a look at Teela's accessories. She's looking great there. I think she looks very much like the Filmation Teela. Body shape, the plainness of her outfit, and her head sculpt, I just love it. She comes with two accessories. She comes with this shield, very plain. She did use this a few times in the Filmation cartoon. And then she also comes with that very plain, flat painted sword. And she also used that several times in the Filmation cartoon. And it looks really nice as well. And we'll be trying these on her in the review booth. And I just want to mention, don't forget that this is Man-at-Arms' adopted daughter. She's actually the daughter of the sorceress who is serving as protector of Castle Grayskull during the He-Man era and Skeletor era of the MOTU Classics. There's a lot of story behind this universe. It's not just about He-Man. King Grayskull in the ancestors all the way back. Wow. Vicor. So the sorceress that was ruling and a part of Castle Grayskull's protection at the time was actually Teela's mom. Teela does not know that in most of the 2 years of the run of the 80s cartoon of the Filmation He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. But she knows that, Man-at-Arms is her adopted father, and she has in the mini comics as well as in the Filmation cartoon, and especially in the 2000X version, some crises within of feeling like that she's a part of something bigger, and she is, because she's going to be the future a sorceress of Castle Grayskull and protector with powers, and she has some telepathy things going on sometime and some feelings too. But right now, as it stands in the palace under the service of King Randor, during the storylines of most of the Masters of the Universe Filmation cartoon, she's under the service of the Royal Guard. She's actually the captain of the Royal Guard. So she rules over that class of being the Royal Guard that protects the king and serves Eternia. So she rules over that Royal Guard of Eternos. And so she's a very popular and very important character in the MOTU Universe, especially in the Filmation cartoon. And of course, just a spoiler here, she is also in love with He-Man personally and privately and kind of secretively, and she doesn't let on that much. And then, of course, we know that eventually He-Man falls for her in the future of the MOTU Classics. Not necessarily very revealed, not revealed very much in the Filmation cartoon, but there's hints, especially in the later parts of the series. All right, let's go to the review booth and check out her articulation. Let's do some comparisons of her and some other Teelas, as well as look at her accessories on her and comparisons to some of the ladies in this wave. All right, we'll see you over there. And here is our Teela figure. We have Orko and He-Man and Battle Cat and Man-at-Arms, and there's Zoar looking above from Castle Grayskull's window. So we have everybody in place here, and here is Teela. I'm telling you, this is an impressive figure. I'm tickled to have her now in my collection. I think she looks great. And let me just give you a picture very quickly as I give you a 360. Let me give you a picture of her next to a picture from the actual Filmation cartoon, Masters of the Universe cartoon from the 80s. There it is. And you see how dead on that she looks. That is excellent, excellent, excellent. So let's take a look now at her articulation and just get a better picture of her from the standpoint of what she can do. She can look down a good amount. She can look up pretty good. Not much on looking up there, but you can get also a little bit of that diaphragm involved. And that's the next thing. I love, again, how Super 7 decided to do the diaphragm, the ball joint. You can turn from side to side. You can go down some. You can go back just a little bit, but you do have that flexibility of that diaphragm joint, and so I like that. The arms, of course, are on that ball socket, 360, bicep swivel, single jointed elbows, swivel at the wrist, and hinges at the wrist. That's nice. Same on this side. And then she has the ball joint there underneath. No thigh swivel, though. Missed that. I definitely missed that on some of these Filmation Club Grayskull characters. And then single jointed knees, a swivel at the boot cut there, and you get on that boot a nice bend backwards and forwards, as well as superb rocker joints. So you can get this figure in most every pose that you need to do. She's got that thumbs up position, and I note, kind of like some of the others have noted, that I would love to have, you know, some extra hands with these figures so that it could have different forms. But, you know, we don't get that with this line. But I certainly would love to have that in this line. Now, I will just mention just a couple of the things that others have mentioned. You have this double butt thing going on where her butt cheeks are a little too wide apart from where it's showing on there. But overall, it looks good from the side and different angles that you look at, I think. So it's something you can live with. It's certainly not a deal breaker, of course, but that is Teela. Now, what I want to do also is just take a look. Now, here is a picture, I believe, if I can find it here, there is a picture of what it looks like if you have this face repainted. And there's someone that does that, and it makes it look just like the Filmation one. So let's zoom in on here, and you're going to see this, this particular rendition of her, which is, I believe this one is going to be, yeah, this is Grayskull Warriors Teela, and you see the difference. It's because this individual that repaints these heads does that, and I think they do a superb job. Isn't that amazing? So that's great. And so I may send mine off and do that. If I do, and they're still doing it, because that's the other thing, are they even still offering it, then I will do a update on this video. But anyway, this is excellent. There's Man-at-Arms. Remember, this is her adopted dad. And of course, her and He-Man end up falling in love in the future. But let's take a look at some comparisons. That's what we need to do now. And go ahead and put her accessories on her. Of course, she comes again with this nice shield. It's a very simple shield. And then she also comes with this nice, simple Filmation accurate sword. Put that in her hand here. And so there she is, all decked out with her accessories. Let's tilt her head back just a little bit so that you can get a good look. Don't you love those collars that she's sporting there? That kind of sets it off, I think, the collar, because that's really truly iconic for this character in the Filmation cartoon is the collar. All right, so first of all, let's take a look at her with MOTU Filmation Teela, okay? There she is. We've looked at her before when we did the Talon Fighter and the Fighting Foemen. But you see that there's a lot of similarities, but there's also a lot of differences. Let's see if I can, first of all, give me just a second. All right, so here is the MOTU Filmation Teela next to the Super 7 Filmation Teela. And of course, again, you see there's the gold. There's more of a shine. This is more metallic gold. There's more detail to the sword. And of course, the tassel thing hanging from her gear. And then there's the metallic in the tiara. And then the darker red hair versus a brighter flaming red hair. There's also more detail if you notice in those shields. This one's just a plain matte brown, whereas this one has a matte brown with some of the bronze metallic highlight. So you see, of course, there's a difference in the boots. There's more detail here. So the Filmation by Mattel is a little bit more Filmation cartoon accurate in that sense. And I think, too, the Filmation by Super 7 also has a better head sculpt. Now, they both suffer a little bit from in the lips department, but they certainly did a better job on the Super 7 Teela when it came to the jaw line and the face overall, I believe. There she is, both of them there in a comparison. So now let's look at the Mattel Classics Teela. There she is. Okay, as you can tell, the Classics Teela is much more detailed. She's a lot taller there in comparison, I believe. She has much more detail to her shield, and her sword I've got tacked on her back, but there's a lot of detail to that sword as well there, but you see that there's a lot more detail. She has the a little bit more of a covering in the back there in her behind area, but you see the outfit's totally different. There's jewelry around the belt area of this Classics Teela. There's the gauntlet with a lot of detail there. Now this one does not have the bicep swivel. Instead, there's a swivel underneath the bracelet there on the arm, so there's some difference in articulation. One of the things we didn't like about the Classics Teela is there was no torso movement at all from the neck down. There's nothing, no diaphragm, like she has the diaphragm under her bosom there to be able to ball joint, move. Nothing for this one. That was a miss, I felt like, in articulation for the ladies here. But that's a comparison there to the two Teelas, and you see there the detail differences even in the face, a lot more blush and makeup and detail to almost a human look. We covered her a little bit even in our William Stout He-Man from the 1987 movie that we did a review on. If you want to go watch that He-Man review, we compared him and her. They look great together. They match up with almost the human-like, realism, whereas this is more cartoon and this is more detailed classics. And of course, even in the boots and just across the board with this figure, you can even tell it in the collar. The collar's a lot higher up on this side, a lot shorter on this side. So there you have it. There's a comparison to the Classics versus the Filmation Teela. And then here is a look at Teela with her mom, the Sorceress, the Filmation version that Super 7 did, the beautiful Sorceress. And of course, this is supposed to be Teela's mom, and she has a little bit more of a darker complexion. And I guess you could kind of see a favor. I still think we need to correct those lips on that Teela there. But that's a good comparison there, just to give an idea. Now, they have similar articulation, except for instead of the bicep swivel, she has the articulation right at the elbow that swivels. Same kind of head sculpt, and the neck articulation, and then it has the bosom ball peg to be able to rotate and function there. So very similar articulation. I just wish that they had have included the thigh swivel in these figures so that they could get some, I kind of put her legs together, so when I was doing my, opening sequence, the Filmation stop motion opening sequence that I put near the end of my video when we reviewed Prince Adam by Super 7. So bound her legs there to put her together to kind of get in that pose, that classic pose. But there they are together. And let's just do some comparisons to some other figures. Like for instance, here is the classics Adora figure. Again, no swivel at the waist, and they're taller as well. So you see that difference here. And she does have bicep swivel, similar to this one. And but mostly the same, except again there was no torso swivel at all on that one. Now just to compare to some other figures, we have Katrina, who is almost exactly like the Teela figure, and the torso has the below the bosom ball joint, no thigh swivel. Of course, Katrina didn't have any boot cut either, but had the swivel at the feet, or bends and rockers at the feet, and also has the bicep swivel similar to her, and a similar neck where she had limited head motion. But there's an image of them together. Of course, they were in that cartoon together quite a bit too, that Katrina starred in the Filmation cartoon. So there they are together. I wish I had had this Teela when I did the review on Katrina. I used the Mattel Filmation one that I showed you earlier with her, but I think she looks even better with this Filmation Super 7 Teela. To do a quick comparison of some other figures, here she is beside Chandra from the Magic the Gathering Legacy collection done by Funko, and I think these fit in great together. I'm going to use them in my MOTU Classics universe and my stories, and I actually think they look pretty good together there. As far as the height comparison, she's got the flaming head hair, almost kind of like, Teela. I like them together. And then here she is beside Marvel Legends, Hasbro's Marvel Legends She-Hulk character. You see how much taller She-Hulk is and how much more built. Of course, she is a little taller than most Marvel Legends figures, but that just gives you another comparison to kind of give a gauge. I think they'll still fit in with the line, though, if you wanted to pose these together, or even use the She-Hulk in a MOTU Classics diorama story or something, which I think I will with the one I painted. I'm thinking about even painting this one a flesh color and getting a regular type head that is not mean looking, and using her in as an enemy to fight against She-ra or something. I thought that would be kind of cool. But anyway, there she is. Speaking of having them fight against each other, if I did that, let's bring in our She-ra. Now, I have ordered me a Filmation She-ra by Super 7, but I haven't gotten her yet. But this is my She-ra next to the Filmation Teela that has the customized head that I was able to secure on eBay. And boy, that's my favorite right there. And she's also got the customized muscular arms on that bubble power She-ra body. So that's my ultimate She-ra right there. All right, so there's a line, some of the female line that I have that I wanted to show you, and I appreciate you checking this out. Like, share, subscribe, hit that bell, and we appreciate you coming and checking us out here on our review channel, Super Dave, MOTU Classics reviews, and other action figures. Stay tuned, there's a lot more ahead. Check out some photos of our Teela here at the end. Thank you for watching.